Welcome back, everybody. This is my second YouTube video. I love it. My YouTube podcast. I am already getting addicted. This is amazing. For those of you who have already checked out my first YouTube video, thank you so much because I know it takes time to build, and I'm just going to keep plugging away at this thing because, again, we are here to talk about sister wives, and I have just too much to say about this episode. I have decided, though, that I'm going to make shorter content just because I know that, we have busy lives, things are going on, and this show has great things, and a lot of other content creators, or at least a few other content creators, are talking about the same things I am. So I just want you to get in, hear what I have to say, form your own opinions, talk to me in the comments if you want, and let's have a good time reviewing Sister Wives Season 17. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know that you stopped by to hear this ridiculousness. All right, so what I'm going to try to do is for episode 3, I'm going to go ahead and try to do this in 9 points. So remember I said I was going to try to make these shorter. So in 9 points. And at the very last, I am going to give you what I think is my theory. Notice I said theory, meaning not necessarily a fact, because I'm not a doctor, I am not a psychologist, I'm not any of those things, but I have a theory of abuse. And I'm going to call season 17, episode 3, my theory of abuse and zooming through destruction. See what I did there with the word zooming. All right, let's jump into it. So my first point is that Cody uses posting on social media as a test and wants to keep testing it. So he says that he wants to maybe post something for he and Christine's anniversary. And she simply says, no. I don't want to pretend. I don't want to put something out there that makes people think we're still kind of trying to work this thing out, that we are still happily married and together. And I also kind of think she feels like I don't want to do something that's going to make you feel better, because that's really all that is. And so he goes, yeah, I think it's, I wanted to kind of see as a test if she would go ahead and do it. And I kind of want to keep testing it. You want to keep seeing if you have control. That's all that is. Moving on to point 2. See, I told you we're going to make this thing fast. She says that her rings felt like a noose. Y'all, let me just tell you, I am engaged and about to get married in like 6 months. And I really hope and pray and believe that my wedding ring won't ever feel like a noose, because the person who I am becoming one with would never make me feel that way. I wish so much I could sit down with Christine and just really dissect that comment, because that's big, y'all. To say that something feels like a noose, that means it feels like it's choking you, it's suffocating you, it could kill you. Those are big things. I am not saying that that is what she meant. That is just what I hear when I hear the word noose. For lots of reasons, it's what I hear when I hear the word noose. Number 3, Cody says that he cannot believe that she is going to find the life that she goes to is any better than the one she has now. I had to laugh at that because since we know that this happened probably about 8 months to a year ago, Christine kind of dropped the mic on that and went, I'll show you. And now she's showing you. So boom, Cody, you were wrong. Like, that's not new news that he's wrong, but boom, she dropped the mic on that one. She is not only showing you that she's going to have a better life, or that she's having a better life, but she's showing the world that she's going to have a better life. And Christine already knew that, because she said through the pandemic, you basically taught her that she could do it alone. So yeah, did you see that one coming? Obviously not. Okay, anyway, he says in a Zoom meeting, this Zoom meeting was the craziest flipping thing I'd ever seen. And I've been on a lot of Zoom meetings because of the type of work I'm in. We Zoom a lot. And I mean, since the pandemic, everyone working from home has Zooms, but they have a Zoom where it is Janelle, who is visiting her children. It is Mary, who is at home by herself. It is Christine, who is now on baby watch at McKelty's house. And it is, guess who? Cody and Robin. They couldn't even try to make it look like they weren't there together. Like, come on. If you're at least going to say that Robin's not the favorite wife and all this kind of stuff, optics. Think about the optics. And the optics of that just looked really bad. And it just made Christine seem all the more right. So he opens the Zoom meeting by saying, I haven't seen you in a while, Janelle and Christine, and even you, Mary. What? And even you, Mary. Yeah, I kind of forgot you were over there. But yeah, I haven't seen you in a while either. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just such a douche, man. He's such a douche. Anyway, so he starts the meeting and says that Christine's trying to run the meeting. No, she wasn't. She was just basically saying, I know that we're probably here to talk about COVID protocols and what we need to do. And so she just jumped in, It's like, why sit there and do the pleasantries? Like, she's over it. And she's on baby watch. Her daughter is pregnant and going to have a baby any minute. And, it could be any minute. So I don't want to sit here and just sweet talk and soft talk you. Let's talk about what we're here for and move on. You're there with Robin, whatever, But who is he seeing? If he hasn't seen the three of them in a while, who is he seeing? You guessed it, Robin, sitting right next to her at her house. So there you go. Number 5, I don't think Mary said anything this whole meeting. Oh, wait, nope, I take that back. I think that, how when you go in on Zoom meetings and they mute everybody until the person who's running the meeting has control of who has to be on mute and who can get unmuted. I think all of them came in and he didn't even unmute her, because she, just didn't say anything until he did let her unmute, or he did unmute her to ask a very confrontational question to Christine about Isabel. Isn't she up there with you? No, she decided to stay back. I am up here visiting McKelty, who's about to have a baby. She may not have wanted all of her sisters around, whatever, who knows, but they are there. She's 17, and so she can stay home by herself. That's all that Mary said. In that same conversation, speaking of Isabel being 17, Cody's like, well, why can't you make an appointment for Isabel to get a COVID test so that I can go and see her? And Christine says, well, she's 17 years old. She can handle making reservations or making an appointment to get a COVID test so that she could see you. But it's kind of pointless because you've never called her to say I'm coming. So, why stick that thing up your nose every day or every other day when you don't even know if you really need to? Cut it out, Cody. Get out of there. And then he kind of says something that I think is really important and says everything. He says there's always been more to consider here besides Christine and her needs. Now, I know that he was talking very specifically about this instance, but I think that's always been the case. And, if you listen to people between the lines, you will hear exactly what they're saying. I'm going to quote Maya Angelou. She's been quoted millions of times with this. But when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. He has said there are more important things here than Christine and her needs. And honestly, I think you could probably insert any 3 of those women besides Robin. You could insert Janelle and Mary into that same sentence, and it would be exactly what he thought. Yeah, sad, right? Sad. Number 7. I'm going to go back to an episode, and if you haven't seen this episode, you should go back and see it. I think it's I think it's season 1, where they're all sitting on the couch. So Cody in this episode says, after Robin gets to speak, because I'm sure he tapped her on the leg and said, you can speak now. And she said, well, I was waiting to see how this conversation turned out before I made any final decisions on basically Saul, I guess going back to school. She didn't even say what she was waiting for the conversation to tell her, but she was waiting for this conversation to happen before she made any final decisions. Lies. I think you were not waiting for that. I think you've already decided what you were going to do. But then Cody comes in right after her and says, well, I asked Brianna, not to go to school. Right. And it just took me back to the episode in season 1 where Robin goes wedding dress shopping with the sisters, pretending as if she hasn't been wedding shopping before, or pretending that later in the episode that she did not go back to the wedding dress shop and Cody picks the dress. So Robin says, yeah, we had this wonderful time and we went wedding dress shopping and it was fun and da 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 da. And then she sits on the couch and Cody says, I'm dropping a bomb today. I picked the dress. It was the same thing, guys. I was waiting for this conversation to decide what to do. Well, I asked Brianna not to go back to school. And rightfully, Christine says, wow, I bet Isabel would love a call from her dad asking her not to go back to school. She would love that. I'm sorry, Christine, it's not coming because it's just not coming. Right? Anyway, so now we get to point 8. And let me say, before I finish this point, let me bring up and say, because I would be remiss if I didn't do this, I wanted to talk a little bit just about the Mary's mom passing away. I think a lot of us have had people very close to us pass away, but there is nothing like losing your mother. There's nothing like losing a parent, a grandparent, any person that you consider close. But a mom is like, it takes a hole out of your heart. It really does. And it really changes you. And I just felt terrible that she was in a car on her way to her mother when she passed away. But the thing that I wanted to look at and the positive light that I wanted to shine on it is that just probably, the days in Miss Bonnie's passing or transitioning out of this life, I don't know what anyone believes, but I'm going to believe transitioning out of this life into her rest, we welcome a new life in the birth of McKelty's daughter, Avalon. There are people who believe, and I am one of those people that believes, sometimes when a spirit leaves, another spirit comes in. And so it was just kind of this beautiful exchange of places. So there is no replacing the person that you lost, but it's like having that new little breath of life that comes into the world. And so that is a sad event in that show, but it was also such a beautiful event where there was death or sleep, there is now life and an awakening. So I just thought that was beautiful. So here we are at my final point. And this is what you've been waiting for. And it's my theory. I want to say again, my theory, my opinion on what could possibly be up. I had this thought earlier in the week as I was thinking about doing this episode. I almost did it as a separate thing, but I just don't think that I'm not a doctor, so talking 15 minutes or 10 minutes on it would be kind of not it. But my theory is that let's go back and think about Robin's past, okay? This is in no way, let me just preface, this is in no way in support of her, but I just wanted to go back and think about Robin's past of being an abused wife, an abused spouse in this culture or faith or belief or religion. She left that marriage because she said she was being abused. I think that what we see, now this is the theory part. Sometimes I think what we see and her allegiance to Cody is a trauma response. I think it is because I feel like she looks to him before she speaks. I see the worry in her before she speaks. The way that she kind of gets out of having to speak by using the, I'm supposed to just stay out of it. It's none of my business. I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to. Instead of sticking up for her sister wives, who she says in confessionals by herself, the kids are the most important things. Even in this episode, she goes, I don't want to disagree or criticize Cody, but I disagree that his older kids don't need him. So tell him that. Why wouldn't you say that? I get that you love each other and you are pretty much monogamous, but to sit so close and just roll your eyes off to the side when you hear him say something that you don't agree with, why wouldn't you speak your mind? I think it's a trauma response. Do I say or think that Cody is abusive? I cannot say that. I do not say that. I have no idea. I don't live there. I don't know them. But I do feel like he could be so intimidating that it might trigger some trauma response from Robin's past. So if I don't agree with him, he might do X, Y, and Z. If I don't defend him, he'll do X, Y, and Z. I'm being the good wife so that he doesn't do X, Y, and Z. I don't want to go through a divorce again. I won't find somebody else like this family. So I need to stay very still, very quiet. I can roll my eyes over here, but I better not let him see that. I really worry. I worry for her in general. I'm just going to say I worry for her in general. And I see that in future episodes, she's going to sort of cling to Mary and ask her to stay, to hang in with her. Why is that? That's a question. Like I said, again, I am not a doctor. I am not a trained professional in psychosis, psychology, sociology. I am an educator. I am a certified teacher. I do see some of these things in students. I'm a mandated reporter if I see something in students. We all are mandated reporters, you should be. But I see some things in there that I'm just like, wow, I had not thought about that. But I really do feel like there's a little bit of trauma response in how she sticks up and stands for and stands by Cody at the expense of her other sister wives that she claims to love so much and care about and want so much. But do I also see the other side of what people say in that she is probably very slick? She's an actress. She's glad to be the favorite wife. She wants to keep that position because that makes sure for her that her kids are at the top of his pyramid and taken care of. I'm sure she teaches her children, her daughters, keep sweet. Definitely. I'm sure she teaches them all those things. So I don't know. But this is just what I wanted to come on and say. Much shorter than the first time, and it can only get better. Again, thank you for those of you who did watch my first video, my first attempt at YouTube content. I'm going to keep going and see where this thing goes. I hope that you will continue watching Sister Wives, and if not, please go ahead and just tune in and listen to the reviews, because sometimes just summing it up is all we have time for. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope to see you again next week when we cover season 17, episode 4. I think it's going to be a doozy because it's when Christine tells the Sister Wives she is leaving Cody. All right, see you soon. Bye.